Here at the Congressional Shootout with Congressman Rob Wittman of Virginia. Congressman, it's good to see you, sir.
It's great to be here. What a fantastic day.
It is a fantastic day. You have a fantastic district there, the first district of Virginia. Talk about it. I'm a Virginia resident. Sadly, Congressman, you're going to hate me for this. I don't visit your area too much. Tell me why people, us in Northern Virginia, should get the hell out of there and come visit you guys.
Well, down on the northern neck where I live is really sportsman's paradise. If you like hunting, a great place to be. Lots of great shooting sports opportunities down there as well as fishing. So a great area. I'm blessed to live there. Live in the little tiny town of Montrose, population 350. Can walk out my back door and hear the turkeys gobbling and hear the wood ducks and the geese fly over back to roost in the pond behind the house. So it's a great place. I'm blessed to live there and get to travel home every evening from D.C. there.
Yeah, you're a lucky man. You get to get out of D.C. Yeah, so we've seen these stories recently, Congressman, these very vitriolic, angry town halls. You talk about living in your town where people have, I'm sure, direct access to you. Saw one video yesterday, someone attacked a congressman, grabbed his collar. It's getting really ugly, sir. What have you seen?
You know, we've tried to make sure we're engaging folks in ways that are most productive to have a civil conversation. It becomes very difficult, I think, if you have these large town halls. We've met with a lot of these groups that obviously have different viewpoints on things, but we meet with them in a smaller context, smaller groups, to where we can actually have a civil conversation back and forth. It is disturbing when you see that, and I think all of us want to have those civil dialogues with folks, but it is disturbing if they get to a point where people are either hollering and screaming to where others can't talk or listen, and then two, if they want to act out in those situations. So I just think people need to take a breath. We understand there's some difference of opinion out there, but you know, we're all about making sure that our process works and having a civil discourse, no matter where you are, how passionate you are about your issues. I think it's all about having that civil discourse in this nation. And, you know, what we've done is to try to look at ways where we can make sure we encourage that and assure that even if people are passionate about what they talk about, that we can do it in a way that's productive, where we're respectful of everybody's viewpoint, and make sure, too, that it's not about volume, it's about substance.
There's a lot of people right now who see President Trump in the White House. They're happy that he's there, but then they see it's the same old partisan gridlock in D.C. You can't pass health care. You know, there's no funding for a border wall. A lot of the signature issues that he got to D.C. on, and people are so angry at your body and you're the congressional body. What do you say to them when they see Washington and it's not getting what they want?
Well, you know, we're seeing some things get done. We've seen a number of bills that the president had talked about, and that is repealing a whole scope of regulations. We've been able to successfully get that done. We did successfully pass out of the House our version of health care reform. The Senate hopefully will do the same. We get it to a conference committee, get those things going. The next step is to get the budget for FY18 going. As part of that will be tax reform, another thing the president has talked about. So I'm cautiously optimistic that we will get those things done, and we can point to those accomplishments to the American people and say, listen, we've taken the first steps along that route to be able to get those critical elements of our nation's business done.
Talk about, while we're here today, talking about hunting, fishing, angling, all the things in the outdoors. First of all, are enough people outdoors these days?
We can always use more. You know, I want to give credit to folks across the spectrum, from all of our hunting and fishing organizations, to encourage folks to get outdoors, to the folks in the retail industry that have done the same. We're actually seeing in states hunting and fishing license purchases going up, so that's a good thing. I want to see more people get outdoors. I think many times folks today, too, are concerned about our younger generation and making sure that they have the experience outdoors. I know with my grandchildren, we work very hard to make sure they get outdoors. They very much enjoy getting out in the woods, whether it's hearing the turkeys gobble or getting out and have a chance to go fishing. Everybody in our family loves the outdoors, so we have an opportunity to do that. But it's a matter of passing that tradition on to the young folks in this country, and many of them just don't understand what great opportunities are there or what they can do to enjoy the outdoors, and also the shooting sports. And shooting sports are an important part of that, to make sure, again, our young folks understand and enjoy that great opportunity. So it's incumbent upon all of us. Anybody that enjoys the outdoor sports, the shooting sports, I think has an obligation to at least find one other young person and take them out so they can experience that. If we all do that, then we ensure that legacy will continue.
What is your pet passion in Congress when it comes to this industry? What's the biggest thing you fight for?
Well, I want to make sure that we're preserving our hunting and fishing rights. I want to make sure there's nothing there that takes away from those. The same way with our Second Amendment rights. I think those things are absolutely critical. There's lots of conversations that go on out there many times about what's entailed in our Second Amendment rights. I want to make sure people understand that, and understand too that we have to defend them at every turn, because I believe that there's this effort to incrementally kind of chip away at that, and you have to be concerned about that, because if you're not careful, you'll look years down the road and you'll say, wow, you know, these little things happened that took away from our Second Amendment rights that today have a significant impact. So I think making sure that we're diligent about that, making sure we're having conversations about what we're all doing to combat gun violence, which none of us want, but look at productive ways where we actually address the human behavior. The human behavior behind the gun violence is the big issue that all of us can agree on, so we ought to be focusing and getting that done, as well as making sure, too, that we are promoting ways to encourage folks to get outdoors, and making sure, too, there's nothing at the federal level that in any way impedes that effort.
Last question, sir. As fellow Virginians, we are watching, of course, a gubernatorial election in Virginia. We have off-year elections, so we're electing a new governor this year. I would imagine you do not want a repeat of Terry McAuliffe. So talk about the gubernatorial race, and what do you think the prospects are of a Republican gaining the State House? Well,
I think there's a great opportunity for a Republican to, again, take the governorship in Virginia. And there is a stark difference between the candidates that we see now on the Democrat side and on the Republican side. Regardless of which one wins the nomination, I think there'll be a stark contrast there about somebody that's going to work hard to preserve and protect Second Amendment rights, to make sure we preserve and protect our hunting and fishing heritage, which is so important in Virginia, versus somebody that will not, somebody that will go after Second Amendment rights, that will indeed go after hunting and fishing traditions in Virginia. So I think there's a clear distinction between the two sets of candidates there, and I know that folks in our region are very, very concerned and tuned in to where the candidates stand on those issues.
Good enough. Congressman Rob Wittman, thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you very much. What a great day. Thanks again to the NRA and for the great job that you do, and for all your members and the great job that they do.